Isn't pretty, but thank you.
Yes.
Tom, how did that one feel, and more so just it being 600?
The 600 doesn't feel anything except I'm getting old, and like I told everybody, I'm 600 behind Mike Krzyzewski, so I'm staying humble on that. I haven't accomplished much when you look at the big picture things, but it was nice. It was nice for the fans, players, you know. I think everybody appreciates somebody hitting milestones, but as I said to them, that's because of the staff you have and the players you coach. That is the truth, and you survived. So it means you got a good AD, a good president, and people around you that supported you. As far as the game, that wasn't half as enjoyable as the 600. You know, we did not play very well. I give Ohio State a lot of credit. They played well. I didn't think we played with the same energy. Our three best players all struggled the first half. You know, Cash has been a little stove up with a foot injury that he had in the Michigan game. Didn't practice much this week, and we didn't hide it because one practice when media was at, he didn't practice, but he missed quite a bit. And so he was a little bit like that. And Kenny, I don't know, just wasn't the same, and even McQuaid wasn't the same. So, you know, here comes Foster Lawyer, you know, and maybe you know, everybody thinks I'm decent in March. I used to be. I've been a little slacking here lately, but maybe Foster thinks he's back in East Lansing and Breslin, and it's a state tournament where he averaged 40 a game because he shot the ball well, he played well. And you know, I want to tell everybody this. You know, the best part of that whole thing was his best cheerleader wasn't his mom. It was Cassius Winston, and that kind of told me a lot. In fact, one time I told Cash to go in, he said, "You should leave him in, coach." And so I think my team grew up a little bit, called the timeout late because just didn't like the way we played that first half. We were a little better the second half. I wanted to figure out what the difference was. But as everybody's informed me, we've had a lot of good teams that have gone to Final Fours that either lost this first game or beat Northwestern when they weren't very good by 2, or Penn State by 2. So I'm going to take the win and move on, but hopefully we can grow from this because we weren't what we need to be if we're going to advance.
Cassius's freshman year, he struggled, and Tom was his biggest cheerleader. Are you starting to see some similarities between the Tom-Cash relationship and the Cash-Foster relationship a little bit?
Cassius Winston has been Foster's biggest cheerleader since he got on campus, and it's not, Cassius isn't that kind of, he's not the same personality as Tom. And I really appreciated that about Cash, and I think if you ask Foster, he would really appreciate it, but maybe it's in the culture, you know, maybe that's the greatest thing that happens is if your culture's good enough that you plug in different people but you get similar results, then I think you got something really going.
Is there a sense of satisfaction to see the point guards do what they did production-wise in that milestone win for you? Yeah, being an old point guard myself at Division 11, I think it was, it was, you know, and you know what I really like too is Cassius came back and played really well, you know. I mean, I absolutely love guys that can take a challenge and respond, you know. I'm not easy to play for. Don't expect anybody to think I am, but I love my guys, and those guys, they all responded. Kenny responded that second half. Cueto was better. Kyle Arns, I mean, we just left him in there because if we took him out, his back was so bad that he wasn't going back in. So we tried to drag every minute we could out of him at that 10, 11, 9-minute mark. I said, let's leave him in there another minute, DJ, because once we take him out, he's done. So they all gave me a lot. And, we learned, hey, we played pretty good in that one stretch in the second half.
How are you motivating them into the semifinals?
It'll be a good chore when I get back to I motivated them on that timeout with about 8 seconds left. That was the timeout. It was to talk about, you know, what you can do and what you need to do and why did we, and we talked a little bit about it in the locker room. So that's already been done. We get back there, it's time to move forward to Wisconsin or Nebraska, wherever we play.
Shuffling the minutes around too, I mean, getting Gabe in and Kithier for that big stretch, I mean, yeah, that's got to help them get their feet wet in March, but also to minimize the damage on some of those guys.
Yeah, it did, and yet, you know, those guys, there's some drop-offs, you know, there's some moments when you're just pulling your hair because, you know, it's hard to do that. I mean, most people shrink their playing groups when it comes to March. And today I expanded mine, and I'm not sure it was all by design. It was a little bit by what I had to do, but could have used you today, Jess. But anyway, I was proud of the way we came back. I was disappointed in the way we started because that same culture I told you about in a program makes players pull for players like Cassius did, Foster. That same culture should tell you, you know, when Denzel comes by last night and talks about first games and that the other team has an advantage because they played on the floor, they feel good about themselves, they won a game. I'm not sure we raised our game to that, so I'm gonna have to keep working on that.